I'm Denise Nichols, and I'm here to tell you about my near-death experience, NDE, while obtaining nitrous oxide, laughing gas, during a dental procedure. My parents planned a local dentist visit for me around 16 or 17. My boyfriend's parents suggested him as a fantastic dentist. I still see myself in the tiny dental chair. There was a door opposite my feet, and a window on the left. The room was small. The wall in front of me had some conventional dental office photos, but nothing noteworthy. The open door revealed dental office sounds including people talking, music playing, and the phone ringing. The dentist placed his hand on my right arm as I reclined back in the chair. Since he was fat, his tummy sometimes touched your arm while he worked. Before giving his patients Novocaine to soothe them before showing them the needle, he gave them nitrous gas, which was my first dentist experience. He had to numb my jaw for a simple filling, even though I had frequent dental visits. Even now, I can fall asleep at the dentist, so I'm not worried. He asked if the gas was okay. Why not? I thought. My guy loved this from the dentist since it made him sound like Donald Duck and gave him a buzzy feeling. My boyfriend told me. The mask was removed and placed on my face. The hardest thing was describing my gas inhalation. My perspective changed suddenly from laying in the dentist's chair to self-criticism. In this scenario, time seemed unimportant. I had to pause before I could focus on what I was seeing. The ceiling edge was visible from the corner near the entryway. It felt like I was floating near the roof's edge. I didn't contemplate checking my vitals. As if the chamber were substantial, but not quite. Views beyond its boundary were fuzzy and subdued. I could look down at the dental chair patient. As he covered her mouth with the mask, the stocky dentist supported her right arm. It felt like a silent black and white film with a barely audible soundtrack. I was almost touching the left door, and the movie camera was on the ceiling at the room's corner. I don't care what happened, and I don't remember how long I watched this spectacle. It seemed like mindless TV viewing. I don't know how long I spent in this spot, but it was brief. I offer the following time frame for this incident. Time your thoughts while reading this, then read slowly, like in a dream, but without the dream. I can still image and remember much of it. I could believe I was there because time was not an issue. I suddenly looked down at the dentist's office. As I explored, I thought, how cool, what's this? At that point, I tried to locate and assess the situation. I felt an unknown force nearby. This presence made me focus on the sight. I was ushered back to the scene and told to concentrate, like a child, just as I was going to gaze at the monster next to me against my will. Others pressured me to remove the girl's mask, like a toddler asking, why? I didn't feel compelled to help her. I know nothing about this girl. Then why intervene? It seems she was well. The pressure or thoughts from this other entity grew harder to ignore, and I started to follow their commands. Turning to the girl, I told her to remove her mask. Look at her, remove the mask. Due to my inability to focus, I needed continuous reminders. She seemed detached, and I couldn't place her. I paid attention when the urgency was too high to ignore. Wait, I thought I was at the dentist's office. I'm confused. Who am I spying on? Is she okay? Looking at the woman, I was amazed. I should be at the dentist, I believed. A girl of my age is in the dentist's chair. I had to help her. I felt a presence alongside me telling me to focus on helping her. I couldn't help her since I could only observe. It was bizarre to feel like I couldn't touch anything. The thing advised me to focus on the scene constantly. I followed directions and stayed objective. Time passed, if that's the correct term. Say alert if you've timed your thoughts while reading this. As the pressure to see and act increased, I listened to the being's repeated appeals to concentrate. Though advised to concentrate, I mentally scanned my surroundings and focused on other things. The next thing I knew, I wanted to turn away from the being and look around, including the creature so close. I was unafraid of this thing. Mentally, I couldn't turn right. It felt quite unusual. I could look elsewhere, yet it was like someone gently pulled my head back to the scene. I don't suppose I had a head near the ceiling, but I couldn't sure. I was subtly drawn to the setting, girl, and mask anytime I looked to my right. The otherworldly figure removed the girl's mask after much pushing. I finally focused on the goal and tried my hardest. I realized I was within her in the dentist's chair while trying to get her to take off her face mask. I have no words for this. Although I don't remember touching her, I unwillingly helped her. Like most 16-year-old girls, I was irritated and resistive to authority adults' expectations. In my mid-teens, I still didn't enjoy being told what to do and thought I could make all the adult decisions on my own. I rebelled against my parents. I was pushing myself hard at this point. Whatever the case, I was inside the girl trying to remove her right arm from the mask. She saw me as invisible, but I could twist her arm with great effort. For some reason, I believed I could do it. Maybe I thought I could because I wanted to follow the directions. Since the creature had asked me to help the girl, I thought I could. Strangely, I switched from helping the girl to being her. My self-image in this awkward, sluggish physique took time to recover. I felt like a real person now, not like a stranger in the corner. After everything returned to normal, I felt something peculiar that I couldn't pinpoint. I simply remembered the intense impulse to help this girl. I suddenly saw myself as her. Though I couldn't touch her, I felt like I could grab her arm. It's hard to explain. I was energy, so my hands could manipulate hers. I remember having to rescue her right arm from the dentist's stomach to remove the mask from her face. The oddest part was this. I tried to move the girl's arm while lying inside her. I felt like I was back in the dentist's chair as my real hand removed the mask. The dentist looked to be remasking my mouth. He barely put the mask on my face, as if he were used to giving patients more gas to quiet them before giving them the needle, not to put them to sleep. I struggled at first and didn't have the energy, but I continued. I thought clearly for what seemed like an eternity after removing the mask with my right arm. Wow, I'll never do that again, I thought. Something's wrong. Out of gas. The dentist didn't seem concerned about my unusual experience while I was unconscious. There was no physiological effect, no heart stop. I can't describe how I felt mentally divorced from my body, but it remained. How this happened puzzles me. How could my body function without me? I thought it would cease working if my soul left my body. Indeed, I stood near the ceiling and stared at her. I don't think she was experiencing trouble, just a small girl in a dental chair. The dentist appeared pain-free. She didn't seem upset. I have no idea how I took control of the mask. Despite having it in my palm, I remember struggling to remove my arm from the dentist's abdomen. The dentist was holding the mask, I think. It stuck with me. For some reason, the dentist was pressing down on my hand while reapplying the mask. I pulled my hand away when I noticed he had the mask. How I took the mask from him is beyond me. I don't remember him withdrawing his hand from the mask, placing mine on top, and recovering but it happened. As I removed the mask, his hands remained on mine, and I said, "I do not need this." He then tried to reposition my hand and mask over my mouth. He appeared to shrink from me after seeing my expression, as if he couldn't bear my strength. After a typical dental session with light music, phones, and chatter, the room went silent. Gazing at the dentist gave me control, and I maturely stated that I would not remove my mask. It felt odd, like I could command him. I was respectful of adults and experts as a teenager, therefore I had no trouble visiting the dentist. The dentist worked as anticipated, and didn't act strangely. I tried to forget the experience as quickly as possible. I was concerned telling people would make them believe I was insane, because it was so unusual. I knew discussing such topics was unusual. Since I didn't know much about near-death experiences or what happened, I didn't try to explain. I want to describe the entity I found. Could I have ignored him? Not sure. I still worry about this stranger and wish he had let me see or talk to him. Learning about him intrigued me. I wasn't surprised when he appeared. He was kind, so I felt comfortable with him. I was dwarfed by him. Something about his stature and presence struck me. Though I could see, it felt like being in a dimly lit room with someone very close but not touching. This is inexplicable. Though I couldn't see him, I could feel his presence and tell he had features. Strangely, I couldn't use my brain to draw the traits of someone I couldn't see, and I couldn't leave my body with my brain. I felt like I was living, not dreaming. I felt the need to look beyond the boundaries. The view turned milky white every time I tried to see beyond those boundaries. Being outside my body and engaging with this thing seemed natural, therefore I believed it. I didn't question his existence as if that were his default location. I still feel this near. I accept his presence when he comes and goes. He's like an invisible father, always there to help me do the right thing and be loving. He held my right shoulder twice and supported me as I made tough decisions. The huge hand prevented me from choosing. The video for today is done. Leave a comment with your thoughts.